Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Awaken Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. If you're new to me, new to my show, new to my channel on YouTube, please do subscribe. There's so many videos there so that you can take advantage of all the current shows, all the previous shows, all the shows coming up. I think we're at 499 now. Could be wrong, but so please do take advantage of that. So it is my deepest wish, desire, and intention to bring forward to you these amazing speakers who are sharing their wisdom, their teachings, their experiences, their processes, their healings, their activations, etc., so that we can all thrive, so that we can all awaken to happiness now. And so my dear friend Lori Spagna is back with us, and we're so excited because it's going to be a high vibe call like always. So I'm always excited when I talk to Lori. And today we're going to be talking about how to, or living your soul's highest fulfillment, which is possible, and that is why we're here. So some of what we're talking about today is what your soul's divine agenda is and how to align with it, how to develop and utilize your divine intuition and your intuitive gifts and talents, how to clear, heal, resolve, and transform karmic residue, wounding patterns, roadblocks, and glass ceilings, how to raise your vibration and improve your energy, how to use higher consciousness to improve your life, how to become a conscious, deliberate co-creator and manifest with mastery, how to make the impact you came here to make, how to be the best version of you in accordance with your highest potential. Plus, you're also going to be experiencing transformational sacred energy activations that will allow you to have a direct experience with your own eternal being and your own higher self so that you can more fully unify with your source and the I am. So for those of you who do not know Lori, she's been with us many, many times since the beginning. So we always love having her back. But she is a best-selling author, speaker, spiritual catalyst, an intuitive multidimensional channel, a mentor, an animal communicator, an energy healer, starseed, contactee, and visionary who has transformed the lives of thousands of humans and animals via her channeled ascension guidance, intuition, sacred energy healing, dormant DNA activations, divine transmissions, and animal communication. So, and so much more. Like I said, we love having Lori here with us. So I'm excited, Lori, because this is all the stuff that I love to talk about. So welcome
I'm
back to the
excited
show.
too. Thank you for having me. I'm excited as well. I always love being with you and your community. It's always a joy and a pleasure.
It's always like, when we have our conversations, it just feels like two friends, two colleagues, two people with the same mind, chit-chatting, having this
Flowing.
conversation.
We're
I
always
just
in
love it.
flow. Yeah, you're an
I
awesome
love it.
interviewer because you always
Yeah.
allow it to be in flow. So thank you for that. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's all about that, being in flow. So thank you. So let's get started because, like I said, we have so much to talk about. Oh, and like I said, this is one of my, this is what I love to talk about, living your soul's highest fulfillment in this lifetime, here and now. So, um, a lot of times we get stuck, Lori, with not knowing what our purpose is, what our agenda, what is my soul's purpose? What does my soul want me to do? What is my soul's highest fulfillment kind of thing? People get stuck with that. That is one of
Yeah,
their biggest things that they just like, I don't know. So then because I don't know, I'm not going to do anything because I just
right.
don't know.
Right.
Right.
Well, first of all, let me just say that when we know, when we're doing it, we know. But let me ask on a scale of let's do scale of 1 to 5. I want to hear in the chat, 5 being most, 1 being least. How many of you feel like, well, let's start with an easier question even. How many of you feel like overall your life feels deeply fulfilling and rewarding? Be honest, be honest. Just put in 1 the lowest, 5 being most. Bobby, 1. You feel like, in other words, 1 is not, it's not fulfilling and rewarding. One being, is that what I said? So 4 is
Yeah.
the most, 5 is the most fulfilling, rewarding, 1 being least. So if you're putting it in, there's no right or wrong here. It's just what you feel in relationship to the fulfillment level in your life or how fulfilled you feel. So when you're living in accordance with your soul's true divine agenda, yeah, if you feel like you're missing your purpose, Bobby Ray, that's going to be meaning that you're not living in accordance. If it's 1, 2, 3, right? If it's 4, chances are you're living more and more aligned with your soul's highest agenda because you're going to feel more and more fulfilled. Now, does that mean that you're going to, everything's going to be perfect all the time? No, it just means you're growing, learning, and contributing. So let's start off with defining that, because when we talk about your soul's highest fulfillment and living your highest fulfillment, what we're really talking about is you're living in accordance with what your soul's divine agenda is for you. Your soul, and I'll define soul as well, but your soul had basically planned and picked major, let's call them peaks and pinnacles, challenges, opportunities, areas of growth, and overall service and contribution for you, right? Your soul pre-planned that for you, and your soul is part of you, of course. You and your soul, in a sense, are one, but you're not always operating through the perspective of the oneness with the soul, right? Your personality self is the one here. I got to pay my bills. I got to walk my dog. I got to brush my teeth. I got to make this phone call. I got to do this, that, and the other. It's the personality self is the doing. It's also the feeling. Like I feel happy. I feel overjoyed. I feel sad. I feel depressed, whatever. So it's the thinking, doing, feeling personality self, right? The soul is the one who's like, these are the themes of what I want to work on. These are the major things that I'm going to feel challenged by as a human incarnated. And these challenges are going to help me grow or learn or evolve. And these are the best things that are going to be uncovered through this journey within me. Right? So that's the soul's agenda. Does this make sense? And as you're living in accordance with the soul's agenda, it doesn't mean you're not having challenges, but you're growing through those challenges. And you're like, wow, this has really helped me learn. So I learned so much, even though I didn't necessarily enjoy that challenge, I really learned and grew and evolved. And wow, I'm so much better for having gone through that. Or you're like, you're hitting those obstacles and you're like, okay, there must be really something in here for me, even though this is hard. What is it? Let me explore this. What's the inner work I need to do? Like that's the soul's work. Or another part of it is when you're living in accordance with the soul's agenda, you're like, new gifts are coming through you. You're suddenly realizing like you have a capacity to do something that you just never realized you could do, or you're able to help or serve or assist or support in some way, or you have some kind of new clarity or guidance, or something great is coming through you that you just are like, wow, this is so great. I didn't even know I knew how to do it. Or wow, this is my passion coming through me. And wow, someone else is inspired by this passion that I'm sharing, or someone else wants to learn about what I'm here to teach or offer. Or wow, I was really able to help someone, because your highest fulfillment is 100% connected to how you serve and contribute. But the way you serve and contribute is going to be something that you're passionate about, that you're excited about. And even Alara, so, Shefali Alara, when you first started this call, you were like, this is what I love talking about. This is what I'm so excited about. You said that. And that is part of you living in accordance with your soul's highest fulfillment and doing these teleseminars where you have this wonderful community that's growing and evolving together. That is a great example. So now if I circle back to like, for example, Bobby Ray, you said missing purpose. Your purpose is something that is revealed to you as you live in accordance with what you're meant to be living in accordance with. So if you feel that you're missing a purpose, then part of the soul's agenda then is to discover that purpose from within you. And that purpose from within you is going to be linked to something that you're excited about, passionate about, interested in, that you enjoy, that invokes or inspires some kind of joy or excitement within you. Just like what Alara said, Shefali Alara said when she started this conversation. Just like right now, because I love sharing this stuff, I'm doing it through the sharing. That's why I show up to a call like this. It's me being of service, sharing through excitement, through passion, right? So, by the way, I will add a little caveat to it. And I just want to look at some of the other people who put in a 1. Jay, for example, for those of you who put in a lower number, what do you feel like is standing in your way? What do you feel like, 1 or 2 words, feels like is a little bit of your block area for the people who had lower numbers. So for example, Bobby said she felt like, Bobby said that I think, Bobby, you're a she. I don't know. I think you are.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right. You said, I felt it before I lost most of my sight. Does that mean physical eyesight is missing?
Yes.
Okay. And Jay said unresolved trauma. So you're right. Jay, you're right. Unresolved trauma. Bobby, you're right. Losing your sight is unresolved trauma. Losing your sight is unresolved trauma. Unresolved trauma will manifest on the physical plane as a physical health issue if it's not addressed sooner. So I'll work with both of you, and then I'll go with the people who said some of the higher numbers. I'll switch to the other side, right? The 3s and 4s. So then part of the soul's agenda for both of you, Bobby and also Jay, is to be addressing that unresolved trauma. The unresolved trauma is linked to what you've experienced in this and other lifetimes. And from addressing the unresolved trauma in appropriate ways, there will be real healing that takes place and resolution of that trauma. And as it gets resolved, more spaciousness opens up within you for more to be revealed to you about the stuff that is your highest fulfillment. But resolving the trauma is part of the soul's agenda because it's in your life. So far, does that make sense? And Jay, while you weren't as clear about what that unresolved trauma is specifically, I mean, it's easy for me to find it. I can, if you want to put in a little more words there, you can, like bullet point, but missing your sight is you're not seeing something. What are you not seeing? And I'm sure you get that, and you know that, Bobby, for you, but part of it is what you've not allowed yourself to see and perceive. Right. Those traumas you need to dive into that. Now, you're not able to dive into that typically very deep on a group call like this, right? Because unfortunately, that's just not the nature of a group call like this, but at least it's giving you some insight, because that's part of the soul's agenda. There's nothing, living your highest fulfillment means you are working through your challenges and blocks, obstacles and hurdles in a way that is supportive of your growth, your evolution, and your expansion, so that you're reaping the benefits, so that you're getting the gifts, and so that you're learning and growing. Yes, childhood is, of course, Jay. Okay, so let me go. Does that so far make sense? That's only part of it. We're not meant to live struggled lives, but we are meant to work with these blocks, right? We're meant to work with them. We're not meant to keep thinking that we're being blocked. We're meant to be able to be like, there's a trauma there. It wants attention. It wants to be addressed. It wants to be resolved. And that's the work of healers, right? Healers and coaches and mentors. That's what we work on. Yeah, narcissistic parents and siblings being disrespected. All right, good. So not good that you happened. I'm sorry that it happened, but that is at least you're in touch with that, Jay, right? So part of your job then, when someone is born to narcissistic parents, they are meant how to learn in this lifetime to love, respect, and honor and care for and nurture themselves. Why? Because the parents and the siblings were not able to offer that. By the way, Jay, I'm not sure, but I'm sure, I do feel kind of sure that there's likely a 6 in your life path. You might need to do the numerology on it in your birthday, but its chances are. So, right, once you start realizing that is part of the soul's agenda, the soul's like, I'm going to be born to these parents who are going to force me, in a sense, to do this healing on myself, to resolve these issues, right? So that I can reap the benefits. What are the benefits of that? You learn to truly love, care, honor, and respect, because you use that word, respect yourself. Now, energy healing can completely shift that energy for you. And that's part of what I do. All right. I hope so far this is helpful. I want to flip to the other side. of the people who said on the higher level and work with you guys, but Linda said, I understood that missing a sense usually allows another sense to be more supportive. Maybe I'm wrong. No, that definitely can be true. Yes, that definitely can. If someone's missing, for example, eyesight, that means, for example, with Bobby, that could mean that Bobby's developing more of her capacity in other areas. That can definitely be true. But overall, if we have a trauma that is sort of blocking us, and that's how Bobby offered that, right? That she was not able to see, she lost her sight, and this helped and contributed to her missing her life path and journey, feeling like she's not aligned with her highest fulfillment. What I'm saying is, yes, you could be developing other gifts and strengths, but also because there's a trauma there. And even when you say it's surgical, the doctor told you told the doctor no, and the doctor did it anyways. Right away, now I know you're dealing with issues of power and authority. Because why? You told the doctor no, the doctor did it anyway. Okay, now you've got issues to resolve related to power and authority. Also, because you're attributing it to surgical, it's never surgical. In other words, nothing happens on the physical plane. This is the words coming through me when I close my eyes. Nothing happens on the physical plane that is not first inspired. And understand, this is not the word inspiration. That does not first take place in the non-physical. Everything takes place in the non-physical before it shows up in the physical. So the fact, beloved, dear one, that you have had a physical outcome that physically manifested and materialized into the physical world, the cause of it, the root of it, is not in the physical. The root of it was happening in the non-physical long before it materialized in the physical. See? Okay. I hope that makes sense. I hope it's helpful. I hope it's giving insight. Let me know if this is giving insight. I hope so. And we're going to move on, but I just want to sort of flip it for the people who mentioned yes, good, who mentioned the fours, for example, Annette, Linda, Bless, and Hypnosis. I'm just saying your first parts of what I can see there, right? Because I don't know some of your names, but for those of you who feel that you are more fulfilled, what do you think is it within your life that is helping you to feel that fulfillment? What is it that you're liking that's giving you that answer? And what might you, and try to keep it in bullet points, what is it that you might like to add more or to build on that would expand that even more to beyond 3 or 4? Marjorie, Judy, for example, gave 3s. What is it that you feel like you could add to it that would bring and add more to it? Does that make sense, that question? Let me know from you guys who gave a 3 or higher. And I'll just address this because when Annette says, over the last years, I've slowly lost my zest for life, I hear that. When you say you don't care anymore, usually what's going on there is you are not living in accordance with your soul's highest fulfillment. So when somebody loses their zest for life, what's happening is, in a sense, and this is all the emotional and mental disorders we associate with sadness or depression or grief or losing our passion, losing our zest for life. You need to kind of think of it like this way. The soul has an agenda. It's playing out regardless, right? Your soul's agenda is playing out regardless. But you as a human going through the experience is like, I've lost my zest for life. Well, this is something that you're here to resolve. And your higher self, which we didn't define that yet, but we have talked about this on this call before. Your higher self has the big visionary picture. The higher self is like working, part of you. It's part of you. It's within you. But it's the part of you that's unobstructed from the lower self aspects where you're confused or feeling unclarity or feeling lack of passion or feeling a lack of certainty or feeling a lack of a zest for life. And the higher self is unobstructed. And the higher self is saying, we need to go this way. We need to focus on this. This is where the passion is. This is where the joy is. But the human self is looking at what's wrong and the problems or the darkness, or there's a lackluster here. There's just clutter here. There's a lack of clarity. The soul's saying, well, she's got to work through this. This is an issue in her life. She's meant to overcome this. She's not realizing. The higher self's going, I'm trying to get her to see in this way. She's not seeing. Give her some more pain so she eventually turns around. Soul's like, I'm loading it on here. I'm loading it on to get her to pay more attention to you, right? This is just you're not unified. All these versions are working for you on your behalf because you're the personality self going through it. Those are parts of you too. Now, I just want to say, because we tend to think in the healing world and in the love and light community, we tend to think that it's all supposed to be love and light all the time. And we're fed a high dose of butterflies and rainbows. And, you can tune into any kind of commercial that's promising you take a pill and everything's going to be footballs and daisies and butterflies. And I'm sorry, that's just not reality on earth. So the sooner we start to accept that the challenges we go through are part of the soul's growth, we're not meant to be stuck in them. That's the problem. People they come to free calls and they get stuck in their problems and they want everything free, free, free. And you can only go so deep in a free call. You need to get with a coach or a mentor who can help you get past the blocks to the next level so that your higher self is now running the show and steering you free from obstruction so you can live more of your highest fulfillment. But your highest fulfillment does not include zero challenges, because the challenges are the opportunities for growth, transformation, right? The healers, like, so many of you out there, I mean, we're all healers here. And that's what we do, which we're the ones who are learning how to move energy. And when we work with somebody who can't see because they're facing the lackluster lifestyle, they're seeing the problems rather than the solutions, or the solutions. That's why a third-party coach or mentor or healer comes in and says, I'm not in the gloom with you. I can see for you, with you, on your behalf, until you can see for yourself, right? Okay, I hope this is helpful. I want to go to, I hope this is this helping. Give me a thumbs up or something to let me know. I want to go to some of the comments that people were giving that are
I just want to say absolutely, Lori. And the thing is, when we have challenges, it always brings growth if we're willing to keep moving forward, keep resolving, keep being aware, keep willing to see and perceive what's happening. So it's not always butterflies and rainbows. I say that all the time too, but it's like whoever promised that was like, I don't know what their
Leave it to
idea was.
Beaver. I mean, it was
Yeah,
like that's the
somebody.
narcissistic society. Jay mentioned narcissism, that we are birthing ourselves out of a narcissistic society. So the narcissist and all of our presidents, they've all been narcissists. You can like them, you can dislike all of the world leaders that we've been dealing with. They've all been narcissists. I, me, mine. Who cares if I bomb someone else, kill someone else? Who cares who suffers? All the banking institutions, the food don't get me started on this path, but I just want to say it real fast. Every institution that we use globally, the food industry, the water industry, food and water, food, water, beverage, educational system, medical institutions, educational institutions, I think I just said that, healthcare, banking for sure, all media, big tech. They are built out of a narcissistic society that is based in I, me, mine. And so they like to tell you, take a pill, take a shot, get something stuck in your arm. Everything will be better. Watch this nice movie, this romance movie. Watch this guns movie. Everything will feel better if you just get yourself programmed. So we're coming out of that society now. Buy this new gadget. Eat this food. It'll make you happy. It's coated with sugar. It'll stimulate the dopamine. It'll make you addicted, fat, but you'll be happy. every single aspect of our society. The educational system does it too. Don't really enrich them with how to think. Just give them the basic stuff to keep them dumb, stupid, and happy. Those systems are narcissistic systems. So we believe because we were told, we were fed a bit, we all did it to ourselves. Let's just be happy. It's supposed to be happy. But meanwhile, we were suppressing and denying the reality of this reality, which is that there's a lot of crap here. And we can't just put on a smile face everywhere we go and pretend that it doesn't exist. It doesn't work. So we have to do the healthy dose of working through those, we call those shadow aspects, those parts of us that feel blocked. And then simultaneously, as we work through them, we gain the wisdom, the knowledge, the insight, the gifts, the lessons learned and claimed. This is the inner work we have to do, and we have to take responsibility because nobody's in your brain. Nobody's in your body. Nobody knows what you're thinking and feeling but you. So it's only you can do that. But when you work with a coach or mentor or a guide, they can help you to see whatever those blind spots are. Okay. So Linda says, I love to assist others with med beds so all could be healed. Okay, that's awesome. The phrasing of your languaging is I would love to. That tells me you're not doing it yet, Linda. What is stopping you or blocking you from doing it? And you put in a 4. So that means you are living to some degree with fulfillment, but you're not yet doing it, I'm interpreting. So what do you feel is stopping or blocking you from actually doing it, right? That's your next level. What do you need? What do you need to get past so that you can actually be doing it? And what do you feel that it will take you to get to that next level that is actually living in accordance with your highest fulfillment? And you use the word love, by the way, LL, Linda Lacus. Love, L is the letter of love, Lori, and L is the letter of leadership. So that is part of what you came here to work with. That's in your name. That's part of the soul's agenda. Why? Because the soul picks the soul's name, which I know many of you know. Okay, Bless says, I feel like I could be helping more people, but I'm also on my own healing journey and I've had to find the balance, but always in gratitude. Yes, okay, beautiful. I would be willing to bet that there is a 5 in your life path. I don't know your birthday. I'm not doing your numbers, but when I work with people, I always look at their nameology. I do a nameology reading for them. I do a numerology reading for them. I do an astrology reading for them. And I usually do a records reading for them. All 4 things when you're looking for it, can help to see the soul's agenda and the life path for that soul. Because we are all souls. We're all souls embodied. And we all have agenda and reason for being here. The fact that we're here is not a mistake. We didn't come here by accident. There's a divine plan, right? And we're part of that plan. We're part of the plan for lighted creation. Like we're living in lighted creation. There's light here in this creation experience. So we have an agenda, and that's one of the 4 things I always look at right away: numerology, astrology, nameology, and their records. So when you say, that's what I picked up, that you have a 5 in your life path, but even if you didn't, that's numerology. You feel like you could be helping more people, but I'm also on my own healing journey. That's awesome. And I think Bless, I'm using the word bless because I don't know your name, that you put in a number 4, if I remember. So I'm asking you the same question I asked to Linda. What do you feel like is the next level for you? And that would get you from 4 to 5? Because again, this is the key. I'm not suggesting there's anything wrong with 4. Quite the contrary. There's nothing wrong with 1 or 2. At every stage, our job is to cultivate the ability to be feeling good, feeling grateful, feeling optimistic, feeling however we want to feel about our lives, regardless of the circumstances or scenarios. This is gold. Because the way you feel internally, and I'm not just talking about emotions here, I'm talking about energetically. The way you feel That's ultimately, when we're talking about energy, that's your vibration. So if I ask you, I'm going to take a little detour here, but it's an important detour. If I ask you right now, all of you, how do you feel? If you take a moment just right now and just close your eyes just for a moment and just feel what you feel, whatever it is right now, just notice whatever you notice, eyes closed, just taking a moment to kind of go internally and notice what you feel. And you might just pick one or two words. And you might equate that with an emotion, but you might equate it with something else. What is that for you guys? If you're willing to put that in the chat, I would love to hear from you about that. Annette said, I feel great listening to you. That makes me happy. That's contentment, Linda. Awesome. That's great. Contentment. Okay. Now, again, there's no wrong or right. Jay says anxiety. Anxiety, contentment, these are energy. Even feeling great is energy. Judy says calm, peaceful. Awesome. Marjorie says anxious. Okay. Now I want to ask you the second question, because there's no wrong and no right here. What energy would you like to feel? What would you like to feel? Some people will just say good. That's fine. Feeling good is good. Gratitude. Bless said gratitude. Curious, joy, empowerment. Me too. I love that. Ecstasy. Me too. Okay. Awesome. Now, those energies, joy, empowerment, ecstasy, gratitude, curious, ecstatic, those energies are available to you right now, no matter what is going on in the world. And no matter if you initially said your fulfillment was at a level 1 or a level 4 or anywhere else. Can you guys get that? You can call in the energies that you desire to experience no matter what is going on. So let's play with the energy of, I want to pick a kind of a medium one that somebody said, gratitude. You guys, calm, peaceful. Okay, because calm and peaceful is a very kind of medium. It's not like the high of a joy, but joy, love, joy, divine joy, ecstasy, a love, empowerment, bliss, love that. I work with people all the time and get them to those frequencies, especially in DNA activations calls. But usually those kinds of energies take a little bit more time to get to if somebody's at the other end of the scale, for example, anxiety or worry. A couple of people said that. So let's just work with calm, peaceful, okay, for just a moment, just with intention. I want you to take a long, slow, and deep and relaxing breath right now and let yourself clear, just clear whatever heaviness you feel with a loud, just relax, right? You're not sharing energies right now. Don't worry about sharing energies. You're in your own energy space. People get too freaked about that. Clearing breath. Now, take in your next breath, long, slow, deep, relaxing, all the way down to the belly button. And this time with intention, breathe in the energy of divine peace. You don't have to do anything but breathe with intention. Breathe in divine peace all the way down to the belly button. You guys are already doing it. And now as you do, just release and exhale when it feels comfortable. Put your mind's awareness for a moment below your feet. Just be aware. Below your feet, there's a space. There's a chakra there. Relax, release, let go. Let the energy flow now. Take your next long, slow, deep breath all the way through this whole core pillar and breathe in divine peace. Just breathe it in. As you breathe it in, just feel it as it moves through. You can close your eyes. Just feel the energy of divine peace flowing through you, right? Allow it to flow all the way through with the breath. You're breathing it all the way down below the belly button. You're relaxing the lower extremities. You're letting it flow. And we're just going to activate that, energize it. Hold on, I got to get this. Sorry. It's just it's just telemarketing, and it'll leave a beeping noise if I don't grab it. Okay, just breathe in that peace, right? Even something can come in to disturb you, you can get right back to the breath. Just keep breathing it. Are you guys aware? I mean, it's already more peaceful on this call, even with the disturbance of the external world. Can you feel it? And I'm not even doing energy work for you right now. Can you guys feel it? Thumbs up if you can feel it. You are in control. You are already, by the way, Jay, empowered, cat's boo, to shift your energy. Linda's giving me thumbs up. Awesome. Because you're in the driver's seat of how you feel. This is what I mean. Now, the external world is going to present its problems. Your soul's agenda is going to present its challenges and opportunities. But you can feel any way you want, no matter what, whether you're living in accordance with your highest fulfillment or whether you feel like you're blocked, stuck, lack, limited, in some kind of anxiety or fear, etc. So understanding that your vibrational energy is based on the energy that you are being, and you have control over that. Okay. I hope that's helpful and that makes sense. So I want to go back to some of the things that were being brought up by the group that was saying things like hypnosis for self-care. Doing healing work is very fulfilling, and living on a farm in Hawaii and spending time in the ocean all year long. Okay, awesome. So that is helping you because you were one of the people, hypnosis, who gave a 4. That's awesome. Now, my question again to you is, as I said, for some of the other people, what do you feel? Again, no wrongness, because our job, the whole reason we went to that little practice was to help everybody realize you're meant to feel the way you want to feel, whether it's peace and calm or empowered or grateful, no matter what is going on. And there's no wrongness, whether what's going on. So the idea is, what do you think would help you to get from a 4 to a 5, where you feel even more fulfilled, where you feel even more aligned? What do you think would be right for you, the next right appropriate step, which, by the way, is always an awesome question to ask our own higher self. What's the next right appropriate step for me? And we can even be more specific. What's the right next appropriate step for my healing work? Or what's the next right appropriate step for my business? Or what's the next right appropriate step for me? Going back to Bobby, for example, what's the next right appropriate step for me to awaken more of my passion? Or if we go back to Jay, what's the next right appropriate step for me to resolve some of the inner conflict or to heal and resolve some of the anxiety? See, that's a really good question to ask the higher self. Now, by the way, when we're talking about asking the higher self for guidance to help us along the journey with our aligning more with our highest fulfillment and being best version of self, a lot of people tend to think that they don't get the answers. Do some of you guys feel that way sometimes? Do any of you feel that way? I'm trying to look at the feedback. Disconnected from that. Yes. Okay. So when we feel like we're not getting the answers from our higher self or from the higher consciousness that we're engaging with, whether it's our team, because we all have a team of guides and guardians and masters and teachers and loved ones, in addition to our higher self. And that team is part of our collective. We have a collective of beings. When that happens, we have to ask again and say, I'm sure you answered, but I must have missed it. So please bring it through in such a way that I can receive it. Please make it clear to me. And then we caveat it always in ways that are good and right. So, right, because you don't need to be hit by a car to know that you're not on your journey, right? Like car accidents are always indication that someone's not on their right path. You don't need that to happen to be told, well, you're not on your right path. You got to just move over here, something like that, right? Does that make sense? I hope so. All right. Linda's asking, how do we bring more of our higher self to come in? Well, for one, breathing and meditation practices do that. The healing practice of healing the blocks and the traumas and the wounded bits, the shadow aspects, does that. And then really actively working with your higher self as if your higher self, and this is true, is a real living being. Literally, your higher self is a real living being. And while it is part of you, we are still identifying in our fragmented aspects as we're moving through this reality until we become more at one with our higher self, which we do as we work with our higher self. Then we wouldn't ask the question, how do we bring more of our higher self in? Because we'd already know we're at one with our higher self. Like, that's where I'm coming from. So there's lots of meditative practices. I mean, you could just go into meditative practice and ask for more of your higher self to come in and then breathe that into your body, similar to the practice we just did. And then engage with your higher self as if your higher self literally is a living, individualized being that is part of you, that you are part of, not separate from, that you are working to more fully unify with. See, we tend to overcomplicate this stuff. It's quite easy if we let it be. If you still feel like you don't know, then I would say work with someone. That is really, I am a coach and a mentor and a healer. I know Shefali is too. This is what I do for a living because people are challenged in these areas, but it is way easier than you think. But if you still don't know and you've been trying, then I would suggest to get in right group and right mentorship. Entrainment is real. Who you play together with is who you vibrate with. So this is good coaching for all of you. If you're working on some of these issues, find someone who you resonate with, whoever it is, who you want to be somewhat like, and then go hang out with them. And when you go hang out with them, don't be worst version of self, be best version of self. Best version of self doesn't mean you don't have challenges. Doesn't mean you just don't say, wow, this has really been hard for me. I'm really struggling on this. I'm working on this. I feel blocked on this. Best version of self is still doing that, most likely. But best version of self isn't saying, wow, nothing works. Poor me. It's your fault. It's your problem. You did it. I tried this. That didn't work. Nothing worked. That's not best version of self. Right? Okay, I hope this is helpful. I hope this is coming across as helpful because that is my desire, to be of service and to be helpful. And I'm just saying, because these are things we all go through. There is no shame in anything like this. There's no wrongness about being challenged. There's no wrongness about feeling like we're disconnected from our higher self. We're coming out of this old paradigm into a new paradigm where we're learning to operate and become a whole new version of ourselves. And we bring our crap with us. We just bring it in a different way. We start recognizing that this crap is all about us elevating with those challenges and transforming them to be our greatest gifts. Because this is the truth. Our challenges and obstacles and hurdles are our greatest gifts in disguise, for sure. And by the way, somebody did say that, it might have been Linda, about Bobby's site, when that person, if it was Linda, said, well, when one thing is blocked, it usually helps you develop other gifts. And there's truth in that, right? Okay. All right, good. So I think, let me see if I can see any other comments, but I feel like I've covered that initial part. Does all that make sense? And we want to, I'm just going over some of the comments to see, because I try to get to them all, but I know I missed a lot. Bless said about her physical environment, but I'm working on it. Yeah. So if the physical environment that you're in isn't to your liking, one thing I would really recommend to you, just in terms of coaching, is what little things can you do today? I don't know if it's like the house, I'm kind of getting it's the home that you're in is not the right home, or the physical room that you live in is not your ideal situation of living. That's what I'm hearing, and that's what I'm getting from what you said. So let me know if that's correct. But what little things can you do today to make that physical environment more pleasurable and more enjoyable for you, whether it's bringing in a salt lamp or a new candle or some different lighting? And then how can you begin to manifest through consciousness a more desirable space? I'll give you some some coaching for how you can manifest. So get out a journal, which you probably already have one. And this is for bless specifically, but this is anyone can use this for manifesting. And you write down in the first column, you put down 3 columns. And in the first column, you write bullet points, your ideal and optimal physical environment. So that might mean, lots of windows, all white space, lots of nature. I'm not sure what's right for you. You write that down. And of course, if it's a home we're talking about in this case, equal to this amount of rent or financial exchange, equal to, not greater than this amount, equal to or less than, affordable based on my budget, whatever that is. That's your first column. Your second column is icing on the cake. Wow, it would be even better, but it's, like it'd be even better if it has a swimming pool, or it'd be even better if it's 2 blocks from the beach, or whatever that is for you. Icing on the cake. And then the third column, just deal breakers that you might overlook. For example, one of the houses I once got, I got a house in Sarasota. I lived there for a little while, and I just neglected my own deal breaker because I loved everything about the house, but it was so close to the freeway. I always heard freeway noise. Deal breaker. And I forgot to write it down. I got the house, and within a week I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize this traffic would be so loud all the time, even through the windows. So if I had done that, right? So deal breaker. And you write that down, and then you literally ask, not just your higher self, your team who loves you unconditionally, including God, source, creator, however you relate to that infinite source that is omnipresent. And you ask to help you to manifest and materialize this into your life. And then you start breathing in, just like the practice we did on a daily basis, the energy that will help you to be vibrationally harmonious with that right home for you. We're using home as an example, but it's whatever you want to manifest. You breathe that into your body and you start becoming vibrationally compatible. And you can add envisioning if you want. You can add in vision boards, of course. You can do vision boards. If you like that, that's great. If that gets you in the energy of it, you can do visioning if you want to. I mean, what does it look like in your mind? What is it? How do you see it? How do you perceive it? How does it feel like in your body? That's manifesting. Right? So start doing that, and then always couple it with gratitude. Overt expressions of gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for helping me to bring this into reality. Thank you so much for helping me to manifest this into my life. Thank you so much. Thank you. Why are you saying thank you? Because these beings are real. This is not woo-woo. Your higher self is a higher aspect of you that is unobstructed from the density of this physical world. It's helping you. Your guides, teachers, masters, loved ones, angels, they are real. It's not woo-woo. Quantum physics even recognizes those things. They just don't, they tend to recognize it as inanimate or electromagnetic particles of light with innate intelligence. That's how they sometimes refer to these beings. Right? So it's real. So, okay, I hope that's helpful for those of you working on shifting. Well, we were talking about Bless's comment on her physical environment, but at the same time, that could be for anything, right? That you're manifesting or wanting to bring into this reality, because that is part of you living in accordance with your highest fulfillment, is having a life that is supportive of you feeling great. But it is also really recognizing that the external world is not the dictator of you being fulfilled. And and challenges and blocks and obstacles and hurdles do not mean you're not living in accordance with your soul's agenda. It just means you're not living at your highest fulfillment. Your highest fulfillment is always going to involve more and more service and contribution in the world. Why? Because that's really what we all came here for at this time. We're shifting from that narcissistic reality, I, me, mine, me. It's all about me, to how may I serve? How may I contribute? Who may I serve? How may I help in ways that feel good and right and positively uplifting for me and for everyone else involved? Harm to none. Harm to none. That means you're not a martyr in the new paradigm being of service. You know, I was a martyr for a long time in my older days, right? I was a martyr. I would help to my own harm and detriment. My thyroid went off because I didn't get to really fully express my truth. And I was overweight from over giving and the burden of like needing protection from all the people who were wanting and demanding on me, right? That's not the new paradigm. New paradigm giving is it feels good, it feels right. I say yes because it feels good to give and serve. It's the fastest road to joy. Service and contribution is the fastest road to joy, provided that it's not obligation, debt giving, owing. That's martyrdom and other things, right? Okay. Is this helping? It's making sense. All right.
Absolutely.
How are we doing here? How do you want to do a check-in and
Yeah, I just want to just talk really quickly about that manifestation process that Lori just shared with us. Again, you can do it for anything, but for some of you, like Linda and some others who want to do more healing work, etc., use that process, that manifestation process for that even, right? So it can be used for anything. Just open up your mind a little bit so that you can say it's okay. It's not just to get a house. It's not just to get this. It's not just whatever it happens to be. What is your highest desire, right? Use it for that, right?
yeah. Yeah, and I wanted to go back to something because I'm looking at some of the comments that I didn't get to, but Marjorie talked about she gave herself a 3 at the earliest part of our conversation because she's invested herself through a medicine training program that's bringing up embedded trauma. Okay, that's awesome. I get it because I mean, it's not awesome. Right? Look, everybody has trauma. The fact that you're working on yours means you are aligned. And you're right. This is why 3 is not better than 1 or 4 or 5. It's just that 5, we're talking about feeling more fulfilled, whereas 1 or 2 or 3, we're still working through more of our traumas. And that's exactly what you're saying. But you are living in accordance with your soul's true agenda by working with those traumas. And I think I've honed this in long enough, but good for you, Marjorie, bravo, and brava, and celebrate yourself on the journey because the deep, dark work is hard. And the reason people are in pain and suffering is because they haven't been willing to do that work, because they've been, again, in that old paradigm, brainwashed to think everything is supposed to be butterflies and rainbows and take a pill and everything will get better in 30 seconds or less. And that is just not this reality. So
Can
congratulations
I
to
just
you,
add one more thing
Marjorie.
really quickly, Lori? Before I forget. So some of you, because I thought about this and it's like, okay, I have to share this. For those of you who are doing the manifestation process, for those of you who are enjoying this conversation with Lori, for those of you who think that you're not getting answers from your higher self, your soul, your guides, etc., please, if you have put out a desire or a question out to the universe and you happen to think of something, like just something comes into your mind, oh, maybe I should do this. That could be a message from your team. It's not necessarily you thinking it. It could be a message dropping in from your team. So listen to it, use your discernment, of course, and then see how that feels,
Right.
and then of course you always have to take action of some sort, right? You got to
Yeah.
take a step.
I mean, one of the things I teach in my programs is I teach people tools to know where messages are coming from. And because the work that I do is to teach people to align with the light. So I'll just define this, and because you guys, some of you may know I'm a channel. We haven't really done channeling today, but there are different agendas on the earth. It's important to understand this. There is an agenda. I'll talk about there's 5 major agendas. One of the agendas of earth is the agenda of the dark. Now, people may confuse this with good and bad, or good and evil, or love and evil. This is not the same thing. I can explain that too. But all of the information I'm teaching and sharing today, this part, is all been channeled through my collective, the collective that I'm part of, which is a team of thousands of beings in the non-physical world, angels, masters, ascended masters, sometimes animal kingdom, very often animal kingdom members, sometimes, planetary bodies, just beings who come in to share on this, what's going on Earth. And all of the beings that I work with are in service to the agenda of the light. There's not a lot of people in the world who are in service to the agenda of the light. So let me explain it. There's an agenda of the dark. The agenda of the dark is to keep people in a state of constriction and contraction and lack and limitation. It's the status quo of the paradigm that we're trying to break free from. The agenda of the dark overall is every system that I mentioned earlier that is still functioning. So the agenda of the dark wants to keep humans stagnant, stuck, and limited, and wants to keep them overall in a state of control, domination, and manipulation through the use of fear and coercion and blocking them. That is the agenda of the dark, and that is the agenda that has been playing out on Earth through all of the major systems up until very recently, the last few years. Now, it's still playing out, right? And all of the major systems I talked about are being utilized: media, big tech, medical and big pharma, food and liquids, drinking, food and beverages, sorry. What am I missing? Education, media, entertainment. Entertainment is one of them. And I'm sure I'm missing, but those are the major systems. Okay. Now, that is a primary agenda. You need to be able to see that that's going on before you cannot be under that control. If you're not aware that that's going on, it will control you, unfortunately. That's the way that system works. Now, the other systems, there's 4 others. There's the system that is now, that very, very few are also in, and that's the balance. And that system is designed to kind of keep the balance between the light and the dark. It's not polarized. It's just trying to not let things get too crazy on Earth, because if the balance goes too far off, people will go crazy. They literally don't know how to survive without the old system, but they need the new system that's becoming more and more prevalent to grow and to evolve out of this old stuck system that is self-imploding. So there's beings who are literally there just to keep the balance. One of the most famous of the ascended masters who does that is Elvira, if you're familiar with that ascended master. They're not bad, they're not good, they're just working to keep the balance. Overall, from their perspective, they're doing what they're meant to do. Okay, in service. Now you have the other agenda, which is very prominent, which is service to the self. So the service to the self typically falls under the dark agenda because it's egoic based, but it's really just more about personal survival. I'm just trying to survive and put food on the plate, my plate. I'm just trying to survive and get through the next day. I'm just trying to make money, just trying to make another dollar. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're hurting or harming others or trying to keep people constricted or contracted, but that's a survival service to self. And that's an agenda that's very prevalent on Earth, which anyone living, there's people all over the world living that way, especially if they're in survival mode. Now you have a very large growing population of people, which most healers, evolutionary leaders, new thought leaders tend to fall into this group. And that is service to the greater good. And this is very good for us because we're getting out of that old paradigm, right? Serves to the greater good. So when you're talking about how may you live in more accordance with your highest fulfillment, as you realize that part of your highest fulfillment involves you moving into that group, how may I be of service in this world? How can I serve the greater good with harm to none, ideally? That's when you start moving into that category. And again, most healers are in this. Not necessarily all spiritual capitalists. Some spiritual capitalists are in the other group, service to I, me, mine. They just posing as spiritualists, and they're not. They're egoic-centered capitalists trying to make money. But more and more new thought leaders and entrepreneurs and solopreneurs and light workers and telesummit hosts and This is a growing category, very, very important, because it's part of the change that's happening on Earth. And then you have a very small, small group of people who have been in that category for a lot of years and are starting to align more fully with, I give up my will for the will of God entirely and wholly and completely to the best of my ability. How may I serve your plan, God, source, creator, the infinite, the all that is? However, we know and identify that source in love, in joy. How may I serve that source and follow the guidance that that source wills for humanity? How may I allow that source to use me in service? That's the agenda of the light. Now, because the agenda of the light is for humanity to grow and evolve, to clear, heal, and resolve these shadow aspects that we're talking about today, these lower, difficult, challenging things that we're going through, right? So my team, my collective, all of them are, the only way they can come in is that they are aligned with the agenda of the light. And that is where my desire and intention is more and more. I'm doing my best. I'm not there 100% of the time, all the time. Sometimes I'm just thinking, I just want to go get my green juice and take a walk. I don't care who needs me right now. Like, it's not like I do it 24/7, but overall, that is my desire. So you see, and that doesn't mean harm to me. That doesn't mean I'm not here to make a living. That doesn't mean I'm going to that certainly doesn't mean I'm willing to hurt myself. That's not what that is. Okay, so those are the agendas. When you understand those agendas, then I'm saying, in terms of finding coaching and support for yourself, find a person that's aligned with what you're desiring to move towards and the desire that you have for your agenda of your lifetime, so that you can become more and more aligned with what you're desiring and identify those agendas. Because if you don't know that those agendas are here, you can be very easily misled, as people have been, particularly in the year 2020, when the lying to the masses was perhaps at its peak, although it's still going on. Certainly 2021 also, the lying, the lockdown, all of it, that's control, domination, manipulation, secrecy, coercion, for a private agenda that serves the few to the harm of the many, takes away rights, freedoms, and liberties. Every time rights, freedoms, and liberties are being taken away, that's typically the agenda of the dark. All right. All right. I will just add in this last piece. How is this? Is this helpful? Are you finding this helpful? So I want to stay with what's most helpful for you guys. Okay. Good. Getting a lot of yeses. Awesome. Okay. So Annette said the economy is kicking my butt. How do I thrive through that? No jobs for me. Can't pay rent. Okay. Yeah. So, well, let's go. First of all, something that for Annette, I am pretty sure that you have an 8 in your life path. I'm just getting a little intuitive here, but you got a lot of double T's, double N with your name. But let's just say this. It's not the economy that's kicking your butt. It's your lack, and I'm not making you wrong, Annette, please. This is coming from my love, right? Because I can see clearly for you, and I'm offering to you what I can see for you. So please know that I'm not making you wrong, right? We're all going through these kinds of things, but it's not the economy that's kicking your butt. It's your perspective and your lack of alignment with your source that is kicking your butt. Because your perspective is that the economy is kicking your butt, and your perspective is that there's no jobs available for you. And so your consciousness has made that true, and the universe is conforming for you. So what needs to shift within you is the perspective. The alignment with your source needs to come through, because your soul's divine agenda is not only for you to resolve this kind of issue that the external world has power over you, because that's the statement you're making. The external world, meaning the economy, and the fact that there's no jobs out there. And notice I said it's a fact, because you've created that experience for yourself. Powerful creator. You just miscreated by your observation of what's going on in the external world. So you've given your power away to the external world. So what's really misaligned is your connection with your source. This is part of the soul's agenda to realign this, right? And as you recalibrate and realign, and this is stuff, you can't do this in an hour, but it's very easy, very fun, very blissful, very possible for you. You come into more alignment with your source, and you start coming into the recognition that source is infinite supply. Source will find not just for you, with you, in you, and through right action, through right thought, through right emotion, right meaning aligned with your source, will find with you and for you, in you and through you, the perfect and ideal job for you. The perfect and ideal job for you. But that is part of your healing journey, right? Because first of all, healing for you then revolves around addressing and resolving the issues related to personal empowerment, giving your power away to external authorities. For example, the economy, in this case, is an external authority because you've given it your power. I'm not saying that things in the world aren't going on like that. I'm saying that you're always meant to thrive, when you're aligned with your source, right? So there's healing work to do on the disempowering parts and into coming to more alignment with your source and your source connection, and understanding and aligning more fully with the energy and the vibration, being the vibration where that is available to you, where the right job is available to you, because you living in accordance with your highest fulfillment, you already have a right job that's right for you, that feels fulfilling and rewarding for you. Okay, I hope this is helpful and makes sense. My desire is to inspire you to know the higher truth, that it is available to you and that it's part of the healing journey for you. And also I would couple with that for you to use the manifestation practice we talked about earlier to help you to find a right job. But that manifestation process we talked about alone in and of itself won't get you the job if you're not doing the inner work to heal and resolve those issues of not only being disempowered, but also your own sense of worth and value. I'm sure you have an 8 in your life path, if I didn't already say that. Okay, Annette, I hope that's helpful. I'm looking at some of the other comments.
So while you are looking at the comments, Lori, I'm just gonna quickly go ahead and share my screen because I'm trying to keep track of the time and honor your time because I know we have a hard stop coming.
Oh, yes.
Right. So I just want to take a moment and talk about the packages really quickly. There's give me 1 second while you look at the comments and stuff.
Yeah, I want to pull up that link too. So the link is at awakentohappinessnow.com
/S36
Lori.
Lori. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
So you have
try
a
and
few
type it.
choices here. I'll go through
I'll type
it.
it in the chat. There we
You
go.
put it in the chat, right?
Yeah, I just did.
Okay. So these are my home study courses, but they are high level content here. This is the stuff everybody needs. Listen, you can choose. If you were to get the link to this, before I go to that, the first one is the sacred mentorship. Membership. Sorry, the sacred membership is about developing more of your intuitive gifts, talents, and abilities. All the stuff we're talking about today, it's the kind of stuff that's covered in that package. It's a full-on year-long membership with hundreds of hours, and it's a living library, which means it gets updated frequently and regularly. It has a full class of developing your intuition, a full class about dealing with energy and overload, a full class on all of the downloads you need. Downloads are things that shift your mindset and your energy, that bring you into vibrational alignment with the energy that you want to be. So, for example, if you want to be the energy of divine joy, there are downloads for that. It's just energy. If you want to clear away the energy of anxiety or loneliness or grief or sorrow or frustration, it's similar to a download. It's a clearing, right? That's in that full course on that. Class on sacred numerology, a class on all sacred contracts. It's so rich and robust, this program, a full class on ancient archetypes. There is a phenomenal class on clearing entities and other non-corporeal beings. This is what always affects people, by the way, who have addiction problems, even if the addiction is to suffering. If you have self-sabotaging patterns, by the way, that's in the ancient archetypes class. These are full classes in here. Freedom from mind control. We talked a little bit about how people can be manipulated, right, with their minds they don't even know, goes into that. It's really good. There's energy in there. There's a class on working with crystals. By the way, my sacred mentorship class, we just covered that last week, and they were so in love with it. They were asking me for even more, but they loved it so much. Has anyone lived through a hurricane, tornado, or tsunami? When you learn how to work with the crystals, you learn how to protect your house will be untouched. I've been living in Florida through now probably something like 20 hurricanes, and nothing. My house has never been touched. My neighborhood has not been touched. And I live 2 blocks away from, where Trump's place was. And I can tell you that his place was demolished one year, my house and neighborhood untouched, because you can learn how to do that. There's something in there all about working with the patterns of nature and weather patterns. There's something in that class about that. Channeled guidance for challenging times, intro to animal communication, learning about dimensions, timelines, gateways, portals. This is one of the most progressive memberships. And in today's call, and this will not be a forever coupon code, we will expire this, but for right now, you're getting 50% off. So it's a 50% off coupon code. You use the coupon code Shefali, all caps. Okay. And more will be updated. The second offer, these are just 4 different classes: home study, self-love, and self-healing. So self-love and self-healing, if you're in anxiety, if you're in overwhelm, if you're feeling that you're not living your highest fulfillment, if you feel you're lacking luster in your life, some people mention that, lacking passion, this is your go-to class, because it all starts with how you love and nurture and care for yourself. If you have money issues, this is definitely a solution class for you, because money issues and wealth issues are always linked to how well you're loving and caring for yourself. And this is also, there's tons of stuff about self-confidence, personally loving, caring, nurturing for yourself, and building courage, confidence, and clarity. And it does, there's a lot in there for animals too. So it will help your animals too. It's a full course. This course, when I taught it, was a $3,000 course, but you're getting it, and there's lots of benefits there. The regular price now for home study is $597. With the coupon code, you get 50% off. Yeah, like I said, these coupon codes will not be available permanently, so you want to get them now while we're here, only for Shefali's community, right? So the other one is the secret energy of money. As you can see, I have been steadily updating. By the way, they all get updated. They're all, when I say updated, more beautiful, amazing content added to them. One of the things I'm most proud of in the self-love class are the 3 recent mini classes in there that I just added. The money class talks about, for example, how to have a side hustle, how to make money fast. But it's all about the spiritual laws of money, wealth, and abundance, how to work with money, how to work with the energy of wealth and abundance, how to work with your mindset, how to shift your perspectives, and how to take on new mindset, new perspectives, new energy that is aligned with the vibration of abundance, wealth, and prosperity. It's a fabulous, fabulous course, worth way more than I have put the price on, even retail, which is $597. But with the coupon code, you get 50% off. Okay, and future crafting, reality crafting is the 4th option. This is through the holidays only, right? I'm not going to make this available forever. So future crafting, reality crafting is all about manifesting, your ideal and optimal state of living, whether it's health and well-being, whether it's your dream job, whether it's being of service in the world in a higher and better way, or whether it's your love interest or your ideal home, whatever it is, this is about creating the future that you desire in your reality now, starting now, because every now moment is where you create your future. Your next now moment is created in your now moment today. That's what this class is about. It also has really wonderful content on not only manifesting it. And by the way, my book, my best-selling Amazon books are in there. Manifest Like a Master, audiobook, PDF book, and workbook, accompanying workbook in there. I mean, this is like awesome stuff, right? I mean, those are on Amazon, but they're in here. But in any case, in addition to that, and the handouts and the PDFs, there is a healing element of this too. So the healing aspect is about the same stuff we're talking about today, where you're working with your own aspects of your unconscious that have been standing in the way of you living the life that you're meant to live and manifesting and materializing into your reality those things that are going to add to your highest fulfillment. Because everybody wants to have a beautiful home. You might think your beautiful home is a mansion. You might think it's a boat. You might think it's an apartment. It doesn't matter. It's your safe, beautiful home to live in, your palace of your making that you get to adorn. Everybody wants a safe vehicle to travel in. And that doesn't mean it has to be a Maserati. For someone, it is. For someone else, it's a Honda Civic. No problem. The idea here is this course is all about helping you to discover what's right for you, that feels right for you. And it's not just about the physical, but yes, I mean, everybody wants to be in love. Everybody wants to feel love, to be loved, right? That's part of crafting your ideal and optimal state of living, your highest fulfillment. So that's what the Future Crafting Reality Crafting class is about. There's extra bonuses in there as well. And again, that course as a home study right now, which is worth way more than $597, that's what it's priced without the coupon. So because you're here, because you're listening, and because you're part of Shefali's community, you can use that coupon code Shefali, all caps, for a limited time and get 50% off. By the way, once you get into my community through those classes, not only will you get extra bonuses that get added and updated because it's a living package. It's not just it's a membership. So it's going to be updated with more, you'll also get access to other bonuses that aren't even mentioned here. So
So,
yay.
thank you so much, Lori. So there's wonderful packages. Again, the value of the packages are a lot more than what is being offered here, for this price. But there's so much content, so much wisdom, so much healing, and so much transformation and change possible. So please see which one resonates with you and take advantage of it. Because of course, like Lori said, these codes are not going to be available forever. So before they go back up to $597 or more, please do take advantage of these before the season ends, I would say. Okay.
I
So
don't even usually make these available. I did it with Alara because we were deciding what would be best,
yeah,
earlier when we were talking about it, and we decided this would be best. So, it's
exactly.
classes aren't even usually available to the mainstream. Like I don't usually make them publicly available.
No, these
So
are
yeah, I know
amazing
that you'll love
packages.
them.
So generous, Lori.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I just want to make it clear because I think if it's not clear already in this community, and that's what we do in the light worker and evolving community, is that we recognize that real change comes from within. We can't just keep passively showing up to calls and doing, talking about change and not doing anything. And the doing is the inner work. And if we say we can't afford things, well, we'll stay in a state of not being able to afford things until we make the internal changes. And so that's what these things are for. They're the most affordable to help people to make the change that we all need to make, that we're here for. And
Yeah,
it's the
absolutely.
great news, the icing on the cake, the cherry on the top is that it's fun and it's enjoyable and it's easy. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. This is not like I listen to stories sometimes from people going to doctors, and especially living in Florida, you hear about people's issues all the time with their health, and they're going to the doctor, and doctors sticking needles in their eyes and cutting things out of their bodies. And I'm not disrespecting Western medicine. I'm just saying there's fun ways to go through transformation. And then there's fun, easy, enjoyable ways. And then if it's left unaddressed, there's not fun ways. Not fun ways are, I don't have any money, I'm broke, I go blind, I have health issues, I got to get a surgery, I broke up, I got a divorce, I had a car accident. That's what happens when stuff is not addressed. I lose my house, I lose my job. Those are the things that happen when we're not addressing it in these ways that are much more fun and effortless, enjoyable, and easy.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. We all have trauma. We all have unresolved trauma. We all have challenging experiences from time to time, but it's important to do the inner work and to get support when sometimes it feels like we can't do it on our own. It's totally fine. I mean, next week I have a session with my mentor, teacher, healer, and it's like I'm fine, but it's like, oh my God, what am I going to talk about? I have no idea. So I'm just going to go because I haven't seen him in a long time. But it's like
yeah,
there's always support available, and sometimes you need the support just to get to the next level or to get over a hump. Sometimes we're just stuck in a certain wavelength, uh, mindset, etc., right, and energy, etc., and sometimes we just need that support just to get through that, right? So
yeah.
it is
I
about
would like to
us
say too, like
and
I want to
people
say a
that we
couple
work
of
with.
things, like some of the kinds
Yeah.
of experiences that people and animals have had. So, for example, with one of the recent energy practices that we did, that's in this, I think it's in the self-love, it's definitely in the sacred mentorship program and membership program. It's brand new. It's definitely in sacred membership. I think I also added in self-love, but that energy practice that we did, a woman in the class, we were doing an energy practice, and while we were doing the energy practice, her cat brought in a hummingbird that it caught, and the hummingbird was dead. Was dead. So because she didn't want to miss the practice, she just held them in her hands, thinking she'll put them outside afterwards, and because it was a live call. And we did the practice, and it was, it was a bit of time. It was like a 45 minutes or an hour, close to an hour. And she said by the end of the call, the hummingbird got up from her hands and flew out the window, but she was sure he was dead, right?
Oh, wow.
Right. There was enough life force, and the energy helped him. Like, that's amazing. Like, we don't always realize how much this stuff can transform lives. So we tend to live in our state of reality, accepting so much mediocrity and tolerating what really is meant to be intolerated. It's not tolerable. And when we get ourselves involved like this is change happens that we didn't even know was possible for us. We didn't even think she didn't think something like that was possible. I didn't even know. I was on the other end of the Zoom call, just leading the meditation and working with the energy healing. See, we don't know things that are seemingly impossible become possible for us when we start doing this work. This is my point.
Yeah.
And there's so many examples like this. I didn't talk that much about me because a lot of times I get on the call with you and I'm like, oh, everybody knows me. But in truth, it's easy for me to share my stories. I mean, when I started on this journey, way before I started doing all this work, not only was my thyroid off, not only was I excessively overweight, I had a 6-figure credit card debt. And I was on massive amounts of pharmaceutical drugs from well-meaning doctors who were trying to help me, who could not solve the issues. And I was having problems with my family because they couldn't understand. They couldn't really help me. I was miserable in my career, working, crying every day about having to go to a job that I hated and just living a miserable life, eating excessively, drinking excessively, smoking excessively with that 6-figure credit card debt. And it wasn't until I finally started getting aligned with my right path. Of course, those were things I was here to resolve. And I did. Because as soon as I started getting aligned with my right path, those things weren't even necessary as obstacles anymore. It was like they got cleaned up like that. 20 years of trying to quit smoking, and the cigarettes were gone forever in like no time. They just weren't something I was desiring anymore. The alcohol gone forever. It's not that I can't drink, it's that I don't want to. I have no desire for it anymore. Like the weight, I healed my thyroid, not with all the pharmaceutical drugs have been gone. I have not taken a pharmaceutical drug, not a single one, not a single pharmaceutical drug for over 20 years. Have not needed it. I'm not saying Western medicine doesn't have its place. I'm saying that when you get on your journey and you start doing the right work that is right for you, the stuff that used to be your blocks will begin to disappear because they're no longer serving you. They only were there to get me aligned with my right path. I got the 6-figure credit card debt, got cleared up within 2 years. And because my guidance was helping me through the power of my intuition, which the most magnificent intuition class, it is a brand new class, is in that sacred membership class, a whole intuition class. By using that intuition, I was getting guidance of what to do with the banks and how to work with them and do forgiveness practices on debt. And within 2 years, that 6-figure credit card debt was completely eradicated. You want to get out of debt? You want to have a new job? You want to fall in love with someone? You want to have those outcomes? Great. They're available to you, but not in the state that you're in right now. Otherwise, you'd have them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the key. Sometimes we don't realize what needs to be resolved, but if you look at your life and look at what's not working, then you know exactly what needs to be resolved. But then are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to be honest? Are you willing to reach out to your team, your higher self, your soul, your guides, and say, "Hey, can you please help me with this?"
And
Right?
sometimes the physical things too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do
All right, I
both.
got a
There's a
jam.
balance.
I got
Exactly.
a jam.
Exactly. She's
I
been
got
telling you. That's
one.
why she's like nudging you.
So yes,
Yeah.
she is.
No,
She's ready. So all right, but I want to
thank
just
you.
say thank you so, so much. I hope that this has been helpful to all of you, and I love the interaction. I love to be able to support you in the best ways I can. So I hope it's been helpful. It's my great desire to just assist and serve in the most benevolent best ways. So thank you all so much for participating and being here and showing up and engaging, because we love each other, right? We're all here to help and serve one another and to learn and grow together. So, and especially
Absolutely.
Alara, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Lori. And thank you,
All right,
everybody,
guys.
for all your questions, comments, feedback in the chat. Oh, my goodness, you guys were awesome. Please do check out the packages that Lori has available. Again, they're not going to be there forever. So please use the code. Shefali is the code. Please use that. And yeah, this is awesome. Anything is possible and everything is possible. You just have to, sometimes we got to do the inner work, right? Always got to do the inner work, right? So thank you so much, everyone. The recordings will be out in a little while. So please do go back and watch and listen. So until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all so much love and blessings. Bye for now.